What is up, guys, and welcome to the video. So today I'm back from vacation and all of the parts have come in for the engine. So I actually just got right to work, got right to work, and started doing cam bearings. My buddy Justin lent me his tool, so we get that done. But you could see, no, that's not really the bad one. The bad one, I don't think these were terribly bad. At least initially. One of them was, there's one. This one was, yeah, you could see that one's just torn up. So I don't think these were bad initially, and usually you can get away without replacing them, but because this had such bad failure with the rod bearings and main bearings, it sent so much metal through the engine that it completely destroyed the cam bearings. But luckily, the cam is a hardened material, and I'll probably hit it with some like emery cloth, but there's no ridges, nothing. It fits fine, fits perfect into the new bearings. And yeah, so we're gonna get started. I got a bunch of parts. So I got brand new, well, not brand new, used Gen 4 rods, and these are actually later Gen 4 pistons with valve reliefs. But these are full floating and new crank. So first things first is I got brand new Durabond bearings, cam bearings. But now that's actually fully apart, I'm gonna pull the mains back off and I'm gonna clean it as best as I can. I'm gonna have to run to the store and get some degreaser and stuff, but I wanna clean it and get this thing completely dry, and then we'll reinstall cam bearings. It's not terribly hard. From what I've found, you just basically line the little hole with the big hole. That's it. Because there's only one hole. So, but you can see there's a bunch of dirt, and I haven't cleaned this at all yet. So I'm gonna get to cleaning. Like I said, pull the mains back off so I have full access to everything. And just try and get this thing as clean as I can. Doing it my way. So let's get to work. I'm not gonna film that. Sadly, I don't have my tripod with me, so I'm not going to, I can't do any time lapse or anything, and I only have my phone, but I will try to film as much as I can with trying to set my phone up somewhere and get me reinstalling the cam bearings and, you know, measuring clearances and everything when the bearings go back in. I got standard bearings because everything was in really good condition. The parts, the rods and crank. So I got standard size bearings, didn't get undersized, oversized or anything. But I gotta put them in and make sure they're okay. But like I said, I have to pull these mains off so I get more clear view of everything, and I can actually get into the oil galleys and clean this as best I can. All right, let's get to work. All right, it's been a little bit and got this thing cleaned. Cam bearings are all installed. So it's a little, you see it's a little oily because I WD-40'd the whole engine. I don't want it to flash, rust or anything. Cam bearings are in. Everything looks great with them. I just cleaned the surface areas for the mains. Gonna drop the main bearings in and then drop the crank in and see what we got. I just have to check the crank out a little bit. Everything looks good on this. I just have to get some, you can see it's been sitting, so I have to clean it up a little bit before it goes in the engine and then drop it on in. And obviously replace the bearings. I got brand new bearings, Levi bearings. So let's clean the crank up and drop it in. All right, crank is in. Everything looks great. So we'll just give her she's beautiful. Good to go. So that'll be it for today. Got to verify with the customer if he eventually wants to put boost to this engine, because now's the time for me to gap the rings. So, but that'll be tomorrow's job. But this crank spin's nice. She looks great. So super excited, super happy with the progress today, getting this thing dialed to this point. Like I said, tomorrow it's just assemble the rods and gap the rings if I gap the rings for the pistons if I need them. But so that's gonna be it for today. I will up you guys tomorrow, which will be in right now for you. And it's the next day. So down here at the shop, and it's late. I'm actually just about ready to leave, but I figured I'd film for you guys. Just been grinding all day, trying to get everything done. There was a lot of cleanup I had to do with the pistons and everything, and got them pretty clean, assembled them, and then I have rings. They just came out of the bath. Rings have to be filed still and put on, but yeah, don't kill me. This is not a you know, $5,000 rebuild here. This is low buck, do it yourself. You know, just basically just trying to get this guy back on the road. I know where to put the money in, as you could say. As in, it's got new bearings in it. It's got new cam bearings, new main bearings, new rod bearings. I am reusing, you know, it's old pistons, like different pistons from a different engine. Reusing rings and stuff like that. But, you know, it'll get new head gaskets. It'll get a new oil pan gasket. All new gaskets, but, you know, some parts are being reused. And sometimes, you know, like I said, this is a low buck operation. This is not a, you know, $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 rebuild of an engine. Just something, you know, like I said, low buck. That's basically it. Because he's got, you know, the cam is still good and everything. Cam's up there. And he wants to put some nitrous to it and just to be a nice little street truck. Nothing crazy. You're not going for 1,200 horsepower, you know. So, like I said, don't kill me in the comments or anything for just doing a, you know, 3-stone hone job and just to rough the cylinders up and everything. But like I said, it's getting where I spent the money where it counts. You know, new bearings, stuff like that. And tomorrow, actually not tomorrow, the next time I'm down here, I will go through and gap the rings for, like I said, for nitrous and everything. They cleaned up nice. This stuff from, yeah, this is from Harbor Freight. It, like, you could say, it like destroyed my hands. It's pretty good. Like I say, it was green. I know this is a black bucket, but it's, yeah, it really took a lot of the oil bake off this and everything. So, it's a small update, and like I said, I'm not here tomorrow. My schedule's like full. I got so much people just want me to tune and check over things, and I'm actually not here as much as I thought I would be. So the next time I'll be down here, it'll be a day or two, and then hopefully it's not much. Like the big tedious thing is putting the gapping the rings and everything. So that's where I spend some good time, is, you know, gapping the rings. And I have old pistons I use down there. I have an old piston I use to, you know, center it into the bore, feeler gauge and everything. Brought my little filer to, like I said, gap the rings. So small little update for now. And hopefully, like I said, next, probably in 2 days, I'll be down here and we'll pick up where I left off. Okay, so that was basically the first three were done yesterday. Like I gapped the rings and everything, and then the fourth one I just gapped. And of course my phone rings. Anytime I'm doing something, trying to focus on something, phone rings. So I wanted to finish that, and that's why I stopped the time lapse. I gotta look at the phone and see who called. But 4 done, 4 to go. I'll continue the time lapse in a second. All right, back to work. I don't know if you just saw that in the last of that time lapse. I was hitting the wrist pin C-clip in, and it literally shot across the shop, but I found it. So basically this is number 7. I'm gonna finish this one up. I was going to let the whole time lapse go, but I wanted to explain that. So I'm gonna finish number 7 up. You saw the rest of them, and then I'll do number 8 live. I'll turn my music off and take you guys along. My process, at least. All right, so number 7's installed. Now I'll take you through my, kind of work you through my process. So first thing, gotta make sure we gotta add I know I did it that last one, but I'm trying to make sure I remember. Put the wrist pin in, or the wrist pin C-clip, I think you could say. Make sure it doesn't fly all over the place. Hopefully the noise isn't too bad. There's the building owner is doing some construction. As I stab myself. See? Phone just goes off. So I'll as soon as I'm focused on something, I'll call him back. So I'm gonna try to get this guy in. There we go. Oh wow, bleeding pretty good. Bleeding the other day from the piston ring. Make sure it snaps. There we go. Okay. So that's all together. Now I'll file the rings to that bore, and good practice is I have all my parts laid out. I literally have 2 rod bearings left. I have 1 upper ring, 1 lower ring, 2 for the oil control, and then the oil control itself. So I have all my parts. Yes, like I said, let's start with this one. The rings, at least factory ones, they all have dimples that tell you the up. So, and there is a difference between the first ring and second ring. So let's measure first ring, where we're at. And you've been seeing I use this. This is just an old 6-liter piston I have, and I like to basically go all the way down to this is flat with the bore, with the deck. That way it's centered in the cylinder bore, I know the ring is flat and centered, and it gives me a good reading for every one. So nice and flat. And for piston ring gap, I'm doing 0.26 for the top ring and 0.28 for the bottom ring. He does plan to add nitrous to this engine, so while I'm in here, I'll just open the ring gap up. So start with the factory ring, and it's tight. Can't get the 0.26 in there, so. Move some stuff. Fire up my little ring filer. It's not ideal, but take my time with it and get a nice straight cut. Take a little bit off of each side. Check the straightness. Make sure dimple is pointed up. Back in the bore. Center it in. I usually kind of can guess, but now I'm on camera, I probably can't. So 0.26. Oh, just a little. I feel the gauge is a little tight, so I'm just going to just quickly do one side. I'll do the other side too. There we go. 2 scrapes. Blow off that. Straighten the bore. We got 125. There we go. 126. See what we got. Look at that. Fits in. It doesn't fall out, and there's a slight drag. That's how you know you're good to go. So top ring is done. Put that side. The second ring is a little bit softer, and it'll cut through pretty easy. So always just go slow. At least with factory rings. So now we're gonna change over to the 0.28. I'm gonna close the 26 because we're done with the 26. Ooh, bottom ring is very close. So I'll just give it a little bit on both sides. Also, bottom ring has a, or second ring I should say, has a dimple. Make sure point it up. Centered in the bore. Let's see what we got. And look at that. Very nice. So, done with that. Now, I did give these pistons a bath in some degreaser, and I got the majority of the old caked oil off. As you can see from the top, they're clean. But I didn't want to use a pick or anything inside of the ringlands. So I've been using the actual rings. Once I put them in, I put a little WD-40 on them to help lubricate it, and then I just work my way around. They're not terrible, like they weren't bad. I just like to make sure everything is nice and free moving, because although you do set the piston ring orientation, they do move in the bore. So we'll put the second ring in first. I don't know if you can, so this is a GoPro, I don't know if you'll be able to tell. Second ring is a little thicker, and it's got a ridge. I don't even know if I'm saying that, a little ridge, so you can see. It acts as a second scraper if it passes the oil control rings. So get this guy in here. Just take your time. Rings are brittle, so usually I just start one side and just work your way around. Just nice and easy, because you also don't want to pull the rings apart too much, because then they'll lose their tension. So just take your time, nice and easy, get it in the bore. I cut my finger really good the other day, so that's why I was using kind of a little bit dirtier rag. So I'll just work my way around, and I could feel it dragging. So I know there's carbon in there, carbon / oil deposits, and I could see the the black from it, like the, you know, built up. There we go. See, really feel it there. Good spot there. Okay, so that's all good. Now I'll move on to the top ring. Again, making sure your dots are facing up. And like I said, you just take your time getting them in. No reason to rush. Okay. Grab your rag. And I definitely had more oil in the top ring in most of them that I found. Of course, this one's pretty clean. There's some, you see it all. There we go. Nice and clean. Wipe it off. Good to go. Both rings move nice and freely. Now, gonna do the oil control ring. We did the snap ring. Yep, did the snap ring. And I do set the oil control ring now. There is an orientation. Usually I put it on the, not the skirt side, I guess you could say. So I'll set that there. And then these really, really fine ones basically hold tension on the oil control ring. And then where the gap is, I do one, so like say the gap, I'm gonna use both hands. Say the gap is here, like between the ring. One goes over here on the top, and one goes over here. So that's how you set them. And then the first and second ring, I literally just do 180 of each other. That's all. And like I said, they do spin in the bore, like when the engine's running, but good practice is just to, you know, have them, they'll spin a little bit. They won't spin all the way around. And because that way, if the rings do line up, you could have it like literally perfect. If they line up perfect, like literally like that, you can have the potential to lose combustion. And, you know, potentially could be hearing an issue that's not really, well, it is an issue, but, you know, like you messed up and put the rings straight up and down. So, top one is done. As you see, I was using my little tool, little pocket screwdriver, just moving that really fine ring over a little bit. Like I said, the oil control one does not move a lot. You gotta take your time. There we go. Okay. Now I'll put the bottom one in. You do not gap the oil control rings. They have enough flexibility. They're not an issue. They're far away from the combustion process, so they don't see heat that mainly the first ring sees, and then the second ring is, you know, the backup. Okay, so I'm just, like I said, just moving it just a little bit. So that oil control is set, and spin the one around. Actually, no, this one this way, and then this one this way. Like I said, so see, they're literally, the one is here, and one is here. So there's that. And pistons, at least factory ones, they all have a dot. The dots all go forward. This is controversy. The rods, factory rods, also have a dot. But the big thing is, you look at the, I guess, surface area right here on either side, and you can see how that one's much larger. That is supposed to go towards the front of the engine. So some guys say piston dot goes, you know, there's the front of the engine. Piston dot goes towards the front, rod dot goes towards the rear. But also see that large section is going towards the front of the engine. That's what they say. So it's all together. I will pull the rod cap. Where's my gun? And as you saw, this gun maybe does 10 to 15 foot-pounds, enough that it'll hold the rod, hold the bearings and everything in place, and then I'll flip the whole engine over and I'll torque them all down. So, get a nice clean rag. You do not put, it's not clean, it's got blood on it too. You do not put engine assembly lube on the back side of the bearing. That is a huge no-no. Do not do that. That will cause if it'll make it easier for the bearing to spin. Not saying the bearing will spin if there's material on the back side, but just saying, you know. So right now I'm just cleaning the inside. You can see there's some dirt. These rods have been sitting around, so just giving them a nice clean, dry area to work with. And then we got so look, we got 2 rod bearings left, and then we're good to go. Now, these caps are what they call cracked. The caps are basically, when the rod is made, the rod's made as whole, and then they'll literally break the cap to get the cap off. I guess that video was too long, or that clip. So, like I was saying, the rods are forged together, but then they're cracked. So they only fit one way. You can see it's completely flat. If you put it backwards, see how there's a gap now? So, they only go one way. But I kind of cheat. I use it's called a tang, where the bearing sits, and when it's together, you can see both tangs line up. So when I'm underneath, to make sure I don't spin it either way and get the rod wrong, I look to make sure it's that. So that's good to go. Get some nice assembly lube. Give her a nice coating. As you saw, I sprayed some WD-40. WD-40 won't hurt anything. Literally does. So the crank's got a little bit of it on it, and then I do it on the bore too. So when the piston goes down, just gives it a nice. There we go. Okay, this is all good. Check your piston rings again. Everything looks good. So sadly, I don't have. This is a 6 liter, so it's got a 4-inch bore. I don't have a 4-inch. I guess not conical, but like a stepped, but it's a smooth step piston ring compressor. So you break out the Harbor Freight one. I do have one for a 4853, which is a 3.78 bore, and it's really nice. Literally, it's a one-piece machined. You literally slide the piston in, and like I said, it shrinks, and boop, it's really easy. You don't have to sit here and screw it and tighten it. And a couple of the pistons, like it popped at the bottom, so you have to take a screwdriver, go really, really easy and get it in. Yeah, so I'm gonna open this guy up. This guy works, it's just the other one makes life a lot easier. There we go. Give her a squeeze. Nice and tight. Bearings in. Like I said, to make sure dot is facing forward. And make sure the crank is out of the way. So that's why if you saw me spinning the crank, so to bring it down. So when you're hitting the piston in, the rod end doesn't go on a nice machined surface of the crank. So there we go. And then I choose the back of a dead blow. And just take your time. The piston will move, and it'll tell you. It'll tell you if there's an issue. See how it stopped? So now I'll just take my screwdriver, put the ring in a little bit. There we go. So make sure it's flush, and then I'll come around to this side, grab the rod, so she's kind of going in the area you want, and then you'll hear it There we go. You hear it thud right where you want it. The bearing moved a little bit, so I gotta push the rod back. There we go. Okay. Now we'll clean the cap up. I'm just basically getting off any debris from sitting around. Let's see. Make it nice and clean. You want to try to be as clean as possible with engine assembly. Just like I said, just trying to find a nice clean spot. There we go. Last rod bearing. There we go. You can never use too much assembly lube, so it'll dissolve in the oil and everything, so it's perfectly fine to put a bunch in there. So again, you gotta look, like I said, I cheat a little bit, use the tangs to get the rod orientation correct. Get it nice and centered. And like I said, this gun does maybe 15 foot-pounds of torque. Not a lot, but enough to hold everything. So, there you go. I have no extra parts. It's a huge plus. So now, I'll flip the engine over. Well, actually, I'm gonna take a break right now and clean up because I have a customer coming. There you go. He's literally driving from Virginia right now for me to, I did a base tune on it. It's a Holly car. And he wants me to just get all the drivability down and everything. It's really hard to do a lot of the drivability online, and especially it's a stick car. It's a stick car, supercharged. So he said it's not a big deal to drive it up or trailer it up. So he's literally on, like I said, he's on his way. So everything is good for now. Now I know I just have to rotate the engine over and torque all of the rod mains or all of the rod bolts, and the short block is assembled. I have new lifters, new head gaskets, everything I need. Heads are right there. So as long as the tune doesn't take too long today, I'll get this engine finished up. If it runs a little long getting tuned, I'll finish this engine up tomorrow. And then this guy can get it back in his little red S10 and I can finish tuning it. I think that's gonna be it for this video. I'll have to see where I'm at total with time. I don't wanna make it too long. So, I can always do an update, you know, once the engine's completely assembled, and then he's gonna put the engine back in. So I'm gonna stop here for now. Okay, so just a little continuation from that. I did come back in time. I got all of the rod bolts tightened, torqued down, everything's good to go. So I will be, it's almost 4:30, so I have to head to go pick up my daughter up from daycare. But I'll be here tomorrow and do the complete rest of the engine. And yeah. And then this thing will be done and it can go back in the little S10. He's super excited to get it back. Like a couple week turnaround between getting all the parts and you know, waiting for everything to get delivered and reassembly. So, like I said, that's gonna be it for this video, and hope you guys enjoyed. I'll do another video, you know, final part 3 when the truck comes back and I do the tuning. You know, check on the oil pressure, check on everything in that. But yeah, she's good. She's good to go. Gap rings, Gen 4 rods, good camshaft. This thing's gonna make some power, make some good power. So, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully the time lapse works out good. And then you saw me do the last piston, took my time and showed you, you know, my process. Everyone's process is different. This is my process that I know works for me. So just I want to share that with you guys. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, and like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.